Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. It's Friday, November 6th. Thanks for choosing to be here to get filled in on what's impacting you here in Northeast Ohio. I've got your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Normally, on a Friday, I'm saying to you, we made it to Friday, but it doesn't exactly feel like a Friday today. It kind of feels like we've been maybe stuck on Tuesday for a couple of days, and maybe that's because this is now day 4 of election 2020, and we are still waiting for results. Let's just take a moment right now and thank the poll workers who are working tirelessly, literally around the clock, in several states in the country right now to bring us the answers when it comes to election 2020. Again, we knew that this would happen because of that record number of absentee voting because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we are getting closer and closer to having answers. Deep breaths, everyone. We will get there. We must stay the course. This is the process. These are the states that we're watching right now. We are still watching Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. Pennsylvania with its 20 electoral college votes, Georgia with 16, Nevada with 6, and Arizona with 11, because this is a race to 270 electoral college votes. Now, right now, Democratic candidate Joe Biden has 253 electoral college votes. That's according to NBC News, and President Donald Trump has 214 electoral college votes. Now, if you're looking at the Associated Press numbers, the Democratic candidate Joe Biden has 264 electoral college votes. That's because the Associated Press has already called the state of Arizona for Joe Biden. Now, here's why you might be seeing things differently on WKYC.com and on our TV shows, because on WKYC.com, we do have some information related to the AP broadcast, the AP projections for the 2020 election. Now, as a reminder, here in the U.S., we don't have a National Election Commission that is calling these things on election day and in the days leading up to the election day. That's up to news organizations to get that information from the county level, from the state level, and report it to you. Now, the Associated Press uses a 50-state network of local people on the ground where they have trusted relationships with county clerks and other local officials that have been built up over years of election reporting. And then they use state-based analysts and editors in Washington at AP's decision desk who will count or call races and declare winners. Now, NBC, which is what we've been using in our broadcast, so that can remain consistent for everyone who is watching Channel 3 at home, because we don't have control over the network broadcasts, by the way. So NBC is in Edison Research's national election pool. Now, the Associated Press used to be part of that pool, but now they run their own models using something called AP Votecast. So what's the takeaway here? They're not looking at different numbers. The numbers are the numbers. The vote totals that are coming in are the vote totals. This is about the standard, and the standards are similar, but they are a bit different. So NBC obviously taking a more cautious approach when it comes to Arizona. So that's what we'll be talking about now moving forward until NBC makes that decision to call the state of Arizona either way, because there are still votes coming in. So we'll be taking a look at the NBC numbers, which means that the Democratic candidate Joe Biden has 253 electoral college votes, according to NBC, even though Arizona has already projected that those electoral college votes are going to Joe Biden. Now, let's take a look at those 4 key states and what that's looking like right now. Joe Biden is leading in all 4 of those states right now, but his lead has been shrinking over time in Arizona. He's currently leading by 43,779 votes, with about 93% of the vote in Arizona. Now, in contrast to that, Joe Biden is leading in the other 3 states we talked about, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Nevada, but the lead is growing for Joe Biden over President Donald Trump in those states. In Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's latest lead is about 13,662 in Pennsylvania, with about 98% of the vote in. In Georgia, his lead is about 1,557 votes, with 99% of the vote in. And in Nevada, his lead is now 20,137 votes, with about 92% of the vote in. Now remember, I didn't say 100% of the vote in any of those states, so votes are still being counted in all of those states. And if we take a look at where they stand with their electoral college votes, President Donald Trump cannot possibly win the presidency without Pennsylvania. Now at this point, Whether you're looking at the Associated Press or the NBC projections, if Joe Biden wins Pennsylvania, he wins the presidency, period. Even without Pennsylvania, Biden can win the presidency by winning any of those 2 states that we just mentioned, being Arizona, Georgia, or Nevada. Now, we are expecting to hear from Joe Biden tonight. His campaign has told NBC News that we can expect to hear from him during prime time tonight, expected to be around 8 p.m., and that will be coming from him out of Wilmington. Kamala Harris is expected to speak as well, current senator, Democratic candidate for vice president, and both Jill Biden and Doug Emhoff, their respective significant others, are expected to be at that conversation as well. Now, as we take a look at what we've been seeing from the candidates, what we are seeing is President Donald Trump attacking the process. And if you take a look at President Trump's timeline on Twitter, his tweets have been flagged repeatedly by the social media platform. Today, President Donald Trump said that Twitter is out of control, and he said that that's, quote, made possible through the government gift of Section 230, which is referring to the way that the internet is governed in terms of these platforms that are social media platforms and what can be published and how they're held responsible for what's published on those platforms. President Donald Trump has repeatedly been saying allegations that ballots that come in after Election Day are not valid. However, that is not the case. Something else that President Donald Trump said on Thursday, he says that they are trying to steal the election, referring to states where votes are still being counted, and he says they are trying to rig the election. The candidate Joe Biden, however, has said, in contrast to that, each ballot must be counted. Joe Biden said, "I ask everyone to stay calm. The process is working. It is the will of the voters. No one, not anyone else who chooses the president of the United States of America." Now, early this morning, about 2:30 a.m., President Donald Trump tweeted the U.S. Supreme Court should decide. However, that is not how this works. The Supreme Court doesn't decide elections. If you remember, back to 2000, when the U.S. Supreme Court did rule on the election when George Bush was competing against Al Gore for the presidency, that U.S. Supreme Court system was about the process. It was not about the literal count of the votes. So let's keep that in mind, because we're going to talk very briefly about potential legal challenges should Joe Biden be declared the presidential elect by being declared, at least unofficially, before counts are certified, the winner of 270 or more electoral college votes. Let's talk about recounts. Right now in Georgia, the margin is very small. Now, there is no automatic count in recount, no automatic recount in Georgia, but if the margin is within half a percentage point, the candidates can request a recount. And the Trump campaign has already said that it will seek a recount in Georgia. Now, that is just based on the margin. There's been no evidence of any errors or irregularities in the state of Georgia. The Trump campaign has also said that it will seek a recount in Wisconsin, where you can seek a recount if the margin is within 1%, and that's where the margin has been in Wisconsin, which Joe Biden also projected to win Wisconsin, but within that 1% margin. Now, there are 10 electoral college votes at stake there. Let's talk about another possibility for legal challenges to the validity of actual ballots. Now, the president's campaign has made a lot of allegations about the validity of actual ballots. However, the campaign has not presented any evidence of any issues with legitimacy of ballots. The president has made it very clear that he has an issue with ballots arriving after Election Day, but it is perfectly legal for absentee votes to arrive and be counted after Election Day in 22 states, that's including Ohio, plus Washington, D.C. Here's an interesting note about the case the president is making when it comes to ballots that are arriving after Election Day and continuing the count of legally cast votes that have legally arrived in states under state law. Because again, remember, this is controlled by state law. President Donald Trump today tweeted asking, "Where are the missing military ballots in Georgia? What happened to them?" Well, in Georgia, they don't typically allow ballots to arrive after Election Day, but under federal law, both military and overseas ballots do have extra time to arrive. So, military ballots in the state of Georgia, if they were postmarked by Tuesday, which is Election Day, and they arrived today, they will be counted in the state of Georgia. That is the law. Every legal vote will be counted moving forward. Now, we're going to switch gears from talking about the election. We're going to talk about other numbers. We have new numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health based on COVID-19, and it is another record-setting day on two bases here when it comes to COVID-19 here in the state of Ohio, new cases, and also the amount of people who are currently hospitalized related to COVID-19. For the first time today, there are over 5,000 new COVID-19 hospitalizations in the state of Ohio. That number is 5,000, I misspoke. Not new hospitalizations, new daily reported cases. 5,008 new daily reported cases related to COVID-19 here in the state of Ohio for the first time ever. And the 7-day average for positivity rate for the tests that are being done is now at 7.9%. That is well above the World Health Organization recommended threshold of 5%. 33 more people have died, as been reported by the Ohio Department of Health in the last 24 hours, and there have been 231 people newly hospitalized related to COVID-19 in the last day, and that brings the total number of people right now who are currently hospitalized to 2,170, and that is a record number for people who are currently in the hospital being treated for COVID-19. Of those people in the hospital right now, 547 of them are being treated in the intensive care unit. So that's about a quarter of everyone who's hospitalized right now being treated in the ICU for COVID-19. Now let's take a look at the global and the national numbers related to COVID-19. These come from Johns Hopkins University. In the U.S., we are well over 100,000 cases in the last 24 hours again, and over 1,100 deaths related to COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The total number of cases now reported for COVID-19 in the U.S. is 9,654,501. So that's just under 117,000 new COVID-19 cases since we last talked last afternoon on Thursday. The total number of deaths related to COVID-19 is at 235,347. So that's 1,122 COVID-19 deaths since we last talked on Thursday afternoon. Now, comparing what those numbers look like from the U.S. to the global level, we are at 19.7% of the total cases of COVID-19 in the entire world and 19% of the total deaths related to COVID-19 in the entire world. That deaths percentage bumped up yesterday, but back down to 19%. Those numbers, though, still large when you think of the fact that the U.S. only has about 4% of the global population. Globally, those numbers for COVID-19 cases are now at 49,100,320, and the total number of deaths related to COVID-19, 1,239,601. So here in Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine has been looking to fill the position of director of the Ohio Department of Health, which was left vacant by Dr. Amy Acton in May. Dr. Acton did recently reveal in an interview that part of the reason why she stepped down was because she was concerned that she would be forced to sign health orders that violated her oath as a medical professional to first do no harm. Of course, there were other things that she was facing, including death threats related to the health orders that had lockdowns within the state of Ohio. And now Stephanie McCloud will be filling that role. She was previously an administrator within Governor Mike DeWine's cabinet, leading the Bureau of Workers' Compensation here in Ohio. Now, Stephanie McCloud is not a doctor. She is a lawyer here in the state of Ohio. She graduated from Capital University's School of Law and also studied journalism at Ohio University, and she'll now be taking over as the director of the Ohio Department of Health. We are totally going to switch gears right now because it is Friday, and we are experiencing some very lovely weather. So we're going to try and switch this up and talk about some positive things before we let you go here for your weekend. The weather is absolutely beautiful outside. This is unseasonably warm weather. So we would love for you to send us some photos or videos of what you're doing to enjoy the warm weather while you can. You can text those to us at 216-344-3300. You can also send them to us in the WKYC app. There's a call to action there. So you open up the app, scroll down a little bit, you'll see a bright orange bar that asks you to send us the photos of how you're enjoying this unseasonably warm fall weather. We've also got a Facebook post up about it, so you can comment on that post, and we'd love to share your photos. Just let us know. Now, if you do, just make sure you give us a way to contact you. So your name, where you're from, your phone number, your email, so that we can let you know we want to use your photos either online or in one of our TV shows. And if you are one of the people who is looking forward to the holiday season, good news for you, starting today at 5 p.m., Cleveland's Majic 105.7 is switching to 100% holiday music starting at 5 p.m. today. We are now 49 days away from Christmas, by the way, just 7 weeks away from Christmas. Time is absolutely flying. I think 2020 has been the year that has given us a lot of surprises. Also, has managed to travel at warp speed and stand still at the same time. I think it feels like we're all living in the Twilight Zone. So if you like a little holiday music in your Twilight Zone, this is the story for you. Now, if you want even more holiday music, SiriusXM launched 4 24/7 holiday channels. That was on Thursday. So those channels include Holly, Holiday Traditions, Hallmark Channel Radio, and Mannheim Steamroller Channel. That's where you can get your holiday music fix, both locally here on 105.7 and on SiriusXM 24/7. That's it for your 3 News Now update for Friday, November 6th. Yes, it is Friday in day 4 of our election coverage. We may have some answers tonight. We'll be looking out for that as we continue to get those vote counts coming in from the people who are working so hard to bring them to us. Again, thank you so much to those election workers who are working around the clock across the country in order to bring us answers and a little bit of certainty right now in a very uncertain time. I will see you next on What's New at 5 p.m. with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment, and then I'll see you back here on Monday with more 3 News Now. Everyone have a great weekend. Get out there, enjoy that beautiful weather. I think getting outside is really the key to making this process move more quickly. You know, it's kind of like watching a boiling pot of water. The longer you watch it, the longer it takes, or so they say. Let's all get outside and enjoy some of that this weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday. I'm Stephanie Haney.